we've been lucky to get the first 20K from the brother Hayat. We had nothing at this time, but it was enough to live in London with Arthur and Jeremy. Then we've been accelerated at the Numa. We got 25K from them. And what was very interesting of being part of an accelerator, if you can have credits, free credits from Google, AWS, and Azure. And we raised, so for us it's like raising money because we got 500K euros of free credits from all of them.
Thanks everyone to be here tonight. And I know that it's not easy with the coronavirus or the cold, so thanks so much. And thanks so much to Sacha, because tonight is a very special night.
Yeah.
So tonight is actually the birthday of Sacha. So we should wish her. So I guess we're very lucky to have you. Thank you so much, Sacha.
Thank you, Rhai, for inviting me, and I'm very happy to be there and to share with you what we are building at Yubo.
So just to kick things off, so can you just tell us what Yubos do, what's your company mission, and what does your product do as well?
Yeah, sure. So Yubo is a social discovery platform to make new friends all around the world. And we reproduce the way of how people connect offline on mobile. So basically, it's a public place where you have small group of chat, where people can communicate with video, audio, and chat in real time, based on topics, languages, countries. And we currently have more than 25 million users all around the world that are between 15 and 20 years old, mainly in the US and in English countries. And we target the Generation Z because this generation is the most connected generation in the world. And they have this need of socializing online, and this is why we are building Yubo.
Okay, so thank you. So if we just take a step back, because I know that you've been grinding for a while, you've been hustling for a while, so you just raised 11 million and we're in 2020, but I know that Yubo is not your first product. So can you tell us a little bit more about the origins of Yubo and your first products, and what did you understand back then, and what made you switch from these first products to Yubo today?
Yes, of course. So we have been trying with my co-founder to improve the way of how people connect and interact since we are 18. And our first product was Saloon. It was an hyper-geolocated group of chat where people could communicate anonymously. And it was designed for students. And when we launched this product, we had a great traction because we reached 5,000 users in a week, but we had some issues with bullying. As it was anonymous, we had some students that were bullying other students or other teachers. So we decided to stop this product because we were very young, and the first thing we've learned on this product is safety is very important, and you need, if you are building a social platform, you need to add safety feature from the beginning. And then we've built a second product called 12, which is the name of the company. And 12 was a dating app with a simple concept, one day, one date, with a broader vision of being able to meet one person every day, either for networking, either for dating, for friendship, but we focused on the dating part because it was easier. And we had no traction, no retention, and nobody was speaking on the platform. So we decided to stop this product, and we learned that having an idea is not enough, and you need to go beyond an idea to find a need and solve a problem. So then we moved to Yubo, and instead of starting with a good idea, we started with a simple problem, which was millions of people were sharing their Snapchat username online, and they are still doing it today. And we just wanted to understand why they were sharing their Snapchat username online, who were doing this, and if it was for becoming an influencer, for making new friends, for dating. So we built a quick MVP with a swipe feature, and when you were making a new friend, you were having his Snapchat username. And after a year, we reached 5 million users, and we understood that our users and our community were sharing their Snapchat username online to make new friends, because they weren't swiping a specific location, they weren't swiping a specific gender, and they were choosing the new friends they were making on the platform. And this is when we stopped doing any acquisition and we started building Yubo as it is today.
Okay, thank you very much. So what's very interesting about that is that, so basically what they did is that they saw that there was no way to find other users on Snapchat, right? And
right.
It's still the case today. So today you still have like many companies. A famous one recently is Hoop. It's a small French company based in Besançon. And
yes.
They just stacked like 4.5 million downloads, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly the same product as we've built 4 years ago, with exactly the same concept of making new friends on Snapchat. And we just understood that the need behind sharing his Snapchat username online was to have meaningful interactions with like-minded people. And that's why we launched those public live group chat.
So thank you very much. So basically you really just have to find this problem, solve it very well, and then basically iterate on that and build your own platform, I guess. So I know that when you built Saloon or 12 back then, you were still in school, right? So can you tell us a little bit more how it was to deal with school and also building your first company as well?
Yeah, sure. So when we launched the first product, we were 18, and I met my 2 first co-founders at the university, at Paris Dauphine University. And we've done our Bachelor in Science in Mathematics together. And this is where we launched the first product. And we stopped this product because we couldn't manage our studies and the product at this time. So we focused on our study. We managed to join one of the best engineering schools. So Anthony joined Télécom Paris Tech. Jeremy joined Les Ponts et Chaussées, and I joined Centrale Supélec. And this is where I met Arthur. And the 4 of us, we launched 12 during our 2 first years of engineering school. And then we decided to be 100% on a new project. So we took our gap year to work on a new project, and we were lucky to meet our first investor, the 3 brothers Hyatt, that are making Ubik today. And they gave us 20K to start a new product and to move to London. So Arthur, Jeremy, and I moved to London, and Anthony couldn't move to London. He has to stay in Paris. And so we've built Yubo in London during the first 7 months. Then we've been accelerated at Numa, so Le Camping. And we raised our first round in October 2016. And it was our 3rd year at the same time at the school. So we decided to not go because we needed to build the company, but we managed to get our degrees while we were building Yubo. And our parents are very happy today that we have this degree, and we are also very happy, to be honest.
Congrats.
Thanks.
And for the fun fact, so basically that's how I met these guys. I was actually using Tinder, and I matched with this amazing girl, and I knew that it was a fake profile right away. So I said, so how this growth hack is working for you guys on Tinder? And he was like, oh, not so well. And I was like, okay, come to the office and let's have coffee. And that's how I actually met you guys. And you were back then working on the on 12. And so these guys so very early on, they had this mindset of hackers, and they did a lot with not much. So can you tell us a little bit more about your early growth at Yubo, and how did you manage to get your first users?
Yes, sure. So as you said, on the first product on Salon, we had no money and we were targeting students. So what we've done on the first product to get our first users is giving flyers at the school to the students. And this is how we reached the first 5,000 users. And on 12, as it was a dating application, so we needed to find a way to target single people. So, as Rhai said, we created fake accounts on Tinder with a beautiful profile that were matching with everyone. And we were speaking with those single people saying, hey, I'm a community manager at 12. There is an app called 12, which is better than Tinder. You should download it and you should try. And so it was a great growth hack because we were bringing more than 1,000 of new users per day, but we had a very bad conversion rate because it was 0.1% of people we were reaching that were downloading the application. So it was a very bad conversion rate, and the usage on 12 was not good at all. So we understood that we needed to stop and to build a new product. And so on Yubo, as it was an app to make new friends on Snapchat, and we noticed that millions of people were showing their Snapchat username online, we managed to get all the Snapchat usernames that were shared online. We added all of these people on Snapchat because this is exactly what they wanted, to make new friends on Snapchat. And we just spoke with them saying, hey, we know you want to make friends on Snapchat. There is an app called Yubo. You should download it. Instead of sharing your Snapchat username on Reddit, on Twitter, or on social networks that are not made for making new friends. And this is how we reach our first users. But at some point, growth is very important at the beginning to learn things, but it's not enough if you don't have retention. So that's why, as soon as we understood the need behind sharing his Snapchat online, we stopped doing all the growth hack we were making to focus only on the product and on the retention.
Okay, great. And so I know that, so for the story as well, the first time I had lunch with you, like you really had like an amazing growth. Things really started to take off for you guys at Yubo. And you haven't raised any money yet. Like, I think it was only the 20K. And I remember back then you were, the three of you, like you, Arthur, and Jeremy, you were all living in the same flat.
Yeah.
And you were spending like thousands of dollars a month that you didn't have back then. So can you tell us how you managed to fund your early growth without raising any money?
Yes. So we've been lucky to get the first 20K from the brother Hyatt. We had nothing at this time, but it was enough to live in London with Arthur and Jeremy. Then we've been accelerated at the Numa. We got 25K from them. And what was very interesting of being part of an accelerator, if you can have credits, free credits from Google, AWS, and Azure. And we raised, so for us it's like raising money because we got 500K euros of free credits from all of them. And we were the first one to end up all of these credits in 6 months because our expenses were only our server cost and we were not paying ourselves. So that's how we managed to get to the first 5 million users and to not raise any money until October 2016. And then we've done our first round and we raised 750K and it was better, it was easier.
That's amazing. So these guys were basically telling Microsoft that they would move to Google, and they were telling Google that they would move to Amazon, or and they like 500K of credits. That's amazing. And like you were spending like, I don't know, like 80K back then.
Yeah, we were spending in October 2016. We were spending even around 100K per month only on server cost.
100K that you didn't have. That's amazing.
Yes, 100K that we didn't have, and we got from the cloud, from Google, AWS, and
so having to spend like 100K a month, it means that you have an amazing growth. And so can you tell us, so was it easy to raise with that growth, or how was it?
No, so actually it was very hard to raise money because so we had an amazing growth and a good team that have failed 2 times. So this is very good for investors. But the issue was we were so focused on the Generation Z and on our users that we didn't care about the outside world. And investors, they never understood, but now they understand at some point, but back then they never understood what we were building. Because for older generation, you don't make friends online, you make friends offline. So everyone was saying, I don't understand what you are doing. You have a great growth, that's true, you have a good team, but your vision of making new friends online is not true. And we managed to raise the first round because we convinced the former president of Tumblr and Guillaume Lucisano, who was the founder of Social Cam that reached 120 million users and sold his company. And as soon as we got those 2 business angels that were specialized in consumer, we managed to convince 20 other business angels with tickets from 10K to 50K. And we also got 1 VC that was agreed to invest 200K because we had those business angels in the round. So the first round was a 750K. And as we were spending 100K per month, only with the server cost, we had, after the first round, we had only 7 months left and only a runway of 7 months. So we had to raise again directly after closing this round. So we've moved to the US to pitch to US investors because we thought that, okay, in Europe they don't understand consumers, they don't understand what we are doing, so they will understand in the US what we are building. And nobody was understanding what we were building, even in the US. But we had an amazing growth and a great team and great engagement metrics, but everyone was saying, okay, we don't understand what you are doing. We are okay to invest in your company, but only if you come to San Francisco, because like this, we will be closed and we will be able to understand what you are doing. And we didn't want to go to the US because we thought it wasn't a good idea and that Paris is a great place to build consumer products, and that's why we have this strong network today. So we didn't go to the US, and we managed to convince 2 European investors to raise another round. And we were very lucky because it was the last minute we closed in April. We had only 10K left on the bank account. And on the third round, so we just raised 11 million euros 6 months ago, and we managed to raise from European VCs that we know since 3 years because we've built very strong relationship with them and they've seen what we've done and what we've achieved. But if we haven't built those relationships with those people, I think we wouldn't have been able to raise this round.
Okay, that's very interesting because even if you have an amazing team, even if you have like an amazing growth, and to me, I know that it was like maybe 4 years, 5, like I think it was when Zenly raised their first A round. I was talking with Jean, and I was like, if you don't raise, like nobody should be allowed to raise because back then you had better metrics than any of us. And and yet it wasn't enough. And like, how did you build all these relationship with all these guys like Guillaume Luciziano or the CEO of Tumblr? How did you meet with them?
So back then at the Numa, I was introduced to some founders and to some investors, and each time I was meeting an investor or a founder, I was asking to them at the end of the meeting if they know anyone that could be interesting for us to meet. And everyone was introducing me to three people, and I was meeting, I think for the first round I maybe met 100 people, and as soon as I started to get to know with someone, I was sending to them a monthly report every month to let them know what we are doing and what we achieved. And that's how we've built a strong relationship, because I was always updating them every time we were achieving something, either raising a round, building a new feature, getting a great number of new users. And that's how we managed to get those relationships with the...
So I feel like it's never easy to raise. So was it hard to raise your last round? And did you like wanted to give up at some point, or how was it?
Yes, so we of course we had a lot of ups and downs. I'm sure you can imagine how it can be difficult to build a social discovery platform targeting teens and on the needs that older generation doesn't understand. So it's come with its challenges, and like safety, like the scalability of the platform, the server cost, the live technology we've built. But our desire to improve the way of how people connect and interact online, and the usage we are seeing every day on the platform, the friendship we are creating, have always been stronger than those ups and downs.
Okay, so basically the usage made you feel that there is really something here, and if you would shut down your products, a lot of people would be very angry, I guess.
Yes,
right?
yes, exactly.
Okay, and so you're basically saying it's not easier to raise in the US, and that's something that we don't hear often, which is very interesting.
Yeah, so it's not easy to raise in the US right now, because the US invested in a lot of companies like Marco Polo, House Party, HQ, and all of these companies failed, and they invested a lot of money, and the US are scared. I mean, the VC in the US, they are scared about TikTok and Chinese company, because they have so much money that they can invest in growth, and it can be difficult even with a lot of money from the VC to succeed. Like, for example, TikTok is investing more than 1 billion every quarter only to do some acquisition, which is huge. It's a lot of money to invest, you know. So the US are, for me, they are scared to invest in consumer company, and they focus more on platforms that are monetizing and platforms that other social network cannot copy.
So that's also something that we don't hear often, which is so today, if you're building a social consumer company, it's very hard to raise. Even in the US, it's not easier. I think it's even harder because the US, they understand better than us what social consumer is actually. And if you're not making any revenue, it's hard, right?
Right.
And how much are you making today? Are you disclosing any numbers?
Yes, so we launched Monetization in October 2018, and we managed to make more than $10 million revenue last year.
So even with this number, it's hard to raise.
Yes, even with this number, it's hard to raise because of other companies that have a lot of money, and because they don't want to look at consumer anymore at some point. But I think that now we are in a new era, especially in Europe, with all the consumer startups that are succeeding, like Zenly, like Voodoo, like MWM. And so people start to have more confidence in a consumer startup, and VC have more and more money, especially in Europe. So I think that things will change now.
Okay, so that's great. Now that you raised that 11 million euros, there's something else that always surprised me with you guys is that until like 5 million users, you were only 3 of you, and today you're making like tens of millions of euros a year. And can you tell us how big the company is today?
We are less than 20 people in the company, based in Paris.
So that's more than 500K a headcount a year, right?
Right, yes.
Okay, so that's very amazing. But that doesn't include privacy, right? And what do you do for it?
You mean for safety?
Safety, yeah, for safety stuff.
Yeah, so for safety, so yes, it's only for the people that are working on the product in Paris. We don't count the human moderators we have all around the world. And in terms of safety, so we are one of the leaders in terms of real-time moderation, because we have very strict guidelines. So basically, as we are reproducing the way of how you are making friends offline or online, we want our platform to be safe, because if you are going in a bar or in a place where it's not safe, you won't go and you won't be able to make new friends. So what we are doing is, first, we are verifying the identity of our users at the sign up to be sure it's a real person, they are not lying about their date of birth, to create age group like it works in real life. Then we are doing pre-moderation, so we are processing all the images, the video, the text into strong algorithms that can detect blood, drug, nudity, harassment, racism, so all things that can be inappropriate. Then we are educating our users, so we are sending real-time alerts to our users to explain them what they've done wrong and to be sure they won't start again. And last but not least, we are doing post-moderation with human moderators from all around the world that are going to moderate all the things that are reported by the community and flagged by our algorithm.
Okay, so you're basically dealing with young people. They are like 13 to...
So 80%...
Can you tell us about the demographics?
Yeah, so 80% of our users are between 15 and 20 years old. So we target the whole generation. And more than 50% are based in the US, 20% in the UK, so mainly English-speaking countries.
And how old are you today?
I'm 27.
Today you're 27. How do you build for a generation you're not part of?
Yeah, so it's a good question. So we are very lucky to build a social discovery platform where it's a public place, so you have public group of chat. So we can watch our users using our platform in real time. So we have TV everywhere in the offices, and we can see our users using the platform. So this is the first thing. We spend a lot of time on the product, watching our user using the platform. The second thing, which is very important, is we are speaking to our users every day to get feedback from them. So we all have support account. I'm doing myself support every day with my account to speak with almost 50 users per day, and I'm even doing public live group chat almost every week to get feedback from the users. And the last thing is we are tracking everything on the platform. So we build our own tracking tools plugged to our database. We are using tools like Amplitude, Firebase, and we are tracking all the events that happen on the platform to be able to track everything and be sure that what we are watching or what we are launching as an usage is a real usage based on the metrics.
So that's amazing, because these guys basically built their own Firebase. He just showed me the app on his phone. And that could be like a full business. It could be like actually like Amplitude doesn't have a mobile app right now. So how do you do to ship So I was always amazed by that. How do you do to ship so fast, so many products like that, and because you're only like 20 people, how do you do it?
So first of all, I was very lucky to have two technical co-founders. So one was doing the back-end side, the other one was doing the front-end side, and I was doing the rest. So we didn't have to raise money or to pay any external team to start from scratch a product. And after a year, when we raised our first round, we were very lucky to hire Marc-Antoine Durand, and we met Marc-Antoine Durand on the bot we've done on Tinder, just like you. And Marc-Antoine Durand has built a social platform with more than 2 million users, built a team of 10 people. And when you hire a guy like Marc-Antoine, it's like hiring 10 people at the same time. So that's why we stay between 3 and 5 people until we reach 15 million users. And since then, we try to hire only people that have co-founded or worked in a social platform with millions of users, because they are going to be independent and they are going to add a lot of value to the company, and will be able to stay a small team to build product and ship product very faster.
So I guess that you just have the best team in Paris right now. Are you hiring? Are you hiring?
Yes, we are hiring. So with the fundraising, we want to hire 30 new people in the next 2 years. We don't want to be a team bigger than 50 people, but we are hiring in marketing, in of course a lot of developers, in communication, and yes, we.
So that's also something that we don't hear often, which is usually when companies just raise a huge round like that, they're like, we're hiring like 200 people in the next 6 months, and you're not, and you're like, I would just want to keep the team very small.
Yes, this is also because me and my co-founder, we are still young. We never worked in a company. We never managed any team, so we are learning from scratch how to manage people, and that's why we try to hire only people that are very independent, that will help us manage them at some point, and this is how we manage to be fast, and this is very important for us to be a small team, and I think we couldn't do what we are doing if we were 100 people or 1,000 people in the company.
Okay, and so if we're looking back, what would you do differently if with the product and the company as well?
Yeah, so I think that we would have invest more money and more time in branding because we've been so focused on the Generation Z, the usage we are seeing on the platform, and the friendship we were creating, that we forgot the outside world. And at some point, even today, we struggle to understand our vision and what we are building with Yubo because of the branding of the platform. So I would say that we should have done more in terms of branding, because this is very important for hiring people, for raising money, and even for the company, you know.
And about monetization, would you do it?
At some point, yes. So because everyone, when you are building a social platform, is saying you shouldn't monetize a platform until you get to 100 million users. But it's only if you try to build a business model around ads, like TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat. And we launched monetization 18 months ago, and today we are making a lot of money, and we are less dependent on VC. We can invest our money, and at some point, if we have started way before, it would have been much more easy to raise money, much more easy to hire people, and we would have been dependent on VC.
Okay, so that's very interesting as well, because usually what you do here is that when you're launching a consumer company, a social consumer company especially, that you should not monetize your audience until you reach like 100 million daily active users. So do you think that you can still raise money in the US on a social consumer company? I'm not talking about seed round, but like Series A or Series B without revenue?
I think today it's not possible because Snap is not break-even today, and if you don't have a business model, it's going to be very difficult to find a way to grow and to invest your money because, as I said, TikTok has 1 billion to invest only in paid marketing every quarter, which is a lot. And if you rely on ads, then you will compete against Facebook, against Snap, against TikTok. So it's not possible to have a business model around ads. And micropayment, so in-app purchases and subscription pack, is much more healthier because you don't sell the data of your users. It's a win-win for everyone because you give something to your users and they have a better experience, and in return you earn money that you can invest to grow faster.
And I know that you guys, you talk with like the top tier VC. And I know that they all feel the same way, like in the US. Like today is not even like it's not cool to invest in social consumer anymore because they had like so many issues with like Whisper Secret, and like you said, like Snapchat is not like profitable yet. But basically, so everybody is trying to steal users from Snapchat, and since Snapchat, nobody went from 100 million users, like 1 million daily active users to 100 million daily active users. So do you think that you can still grow without spending money into acquisition?
Yes, at some point, if you rely on the graph of an application that is very big, like Snap, or gaming platform like Fortnite, you can grow like Discord is growing, or YOLO, a French company, is growing today on Snap Graph. So, but the only thing is that this is very dangerous if you depend on Snap or on Facebook because they can cut your access anytime. And this happened a couple of times with Meerkat and with House Party, which is the same founder. So it might have been very difficult for him. But now if you are building something on the same graph of Facebook, TikTok, Snap, as soon as they copy your product, you are dead because you cannot grow anymore. And this is what is happening with Snap when Instagram launched the stories. They are a bit blocked in terms of growth, you know. So if you want to build something as big as Snap, for example, you need to build something based on a new graph like we are doing on Yubo. Nobody has our graph because you come to make new friends, and Facebook, TikTok, or Snapchat, they cannot copy us because even if they copy us, they won't have the same community, they won't have the same graph, and it's very important to work on a new usage and on a new graph.
Okay, so just to recap, so it's still possible to have like an early growth using like a platform that just opened. Just so Snapchat just launched their API last year, a year ago, and so you can still have an early growth. But then if you want to really keep growing from 1 million daily active user to 100 million daily active users, you would still have to spend like $1 billion a quarter, like TikTok. And it's the only company that actually succeeded since Snapchat. And you're also saying that it's easy to copy all these features if you're the big one, like Facebook or Snapchat. So you have to build your own graph, which is very unique. But just, I'm not sure that everyone is very familiar with this. Can you explain?
Yes, of course. So Facebook is, or TikTok or Snapchat, their concept is to connect you with people from your network, so people you know from real life. And this is a graph of Facebook or LinkedIn or Snap. And on Yubo, it's the opposite because we are connecting with people you don't know that will be people from your network. So we are above the graph of Facebook, Snap, or Instagram. And our concept is also the opposite of those platforms because Facebook or Snap is all about content, performance, so likes, views, comments, and individual behaviors. And actually, it doesn't represent how the society works today. And on Yubo, we are all about people and not content, real-time interactions and not performance or artificial interactions, and group behavioral, because this is how the society works today. And that's why Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, they cannot copy us, because we are the opposite of their concept. And even in the business model, they are locked with their content, because everything is about the number of views you get on a content you posted on Instagram, for example.
Yeah, so basically what you're saying is that, so you have your friends from Facebook, they're just on, like, it's your real life friends. You may have some connections on LinkedIn, for instance. You have your friends on Snapchat, that could be like a subset of a bigger graph. And then basically people use Yubo, they make new friends on Yubo, and they talk to these people on Yubo. So if they stop using Yubo, they lose their friends.
No, so not really. So what I'm saying is we are above, so above this graph, because you create, our goal is for you to make as many new friends as you can, and this is our focus, and we don't care what you are going after being a friend with this person, because this is a job of Facebook or Instagram or Snap. And we are very happy when you make a new friends on Yubo that those people are adding each other on Snapchat or on Instagram, because the friendship they are making on Yubo will be stronger. But they will come back on Yubo not to be with those people, but to make new friends. You know, so this is the loop, and that's why you need to be focused on a usage or something new that is not possible to do on Facebook or on Snapchat or on Instagram.
So you're saying that Yubo is the best tool for user discovery, correct?
Yes, exactly. So basically, our vision is to be the world's safest social discovery platform. And so today we are focusing on the online discovery, and tomorrow we will be focusing on the offline discovery by introducing meetups, because we have these amazing communities around gaming, around sports, that we can also introduce meetup and offline discovery.
So that's the future of Yubo,
yes.
Real life interactions.
Exactly. So basically for this generation and the next generation, there is no difference between online and offline. This is the same life. We only have a difference with older generation. But for this generation, as they are more and more connected and they spend more and more time online, this is the same life, you know.
Okay, so I think that a lot of people came here as founders who want to launch the next Snapchat, basically, which is the dream of all of us. And what would be your advice for them?
So the first advice would be to be resilient. So it's been 9 years that we are building products with my co-founder and iterating basically on the same vision, on improving the way of how people connect and interact. So you need to try over and over, and you cannot give up, and this is what we've done. We failed 2 products, we launched some side project, and then we directly built Yubo based on a simple problem. So it will be the second advice, is to be sure that the thing you are testing are very clear and very simple. So the first problem was very simple. It was people were showing their Snapchat username online, so we built a quick MVP in 2 weeks to solve this problem, to understand. And while we were growing, we tested very simple things like, okay, people are not choosing a specific gender, they are not choosing a specific location, so it's not dating. People are choosing the people they want to speak with, so it could be friendship. So then we introduced a chat on Yubo, and the first chat was a chat photo because they were making friends on Snapchat, so we thought, okay, they are going to send pictures to each other. And the first chat didn't work at all. We had less than 3% of daily active users that were using the photo chat. So we killed this feature and we introduced a chat text. And today we have 80% of daily active users that are using the chat text, because at some point when you don't know someone, you won't send them a pictures. And this is how we built our product, by testing very simple ways. And when we launched the public live group chat, people were only able to live video chat, so no audio, no chat, because we needed to test if we would have streamers, Because if nobody were streaming on the platform, what's the point of building a chat, building an audio chat or chat text if no one is streaming on the platform? So my second advice is to be very straightforward and try to find the simplest way to test something to get your answer very fast, and to test as many things as you can in the easiest way.
Okay, thank you very much. So ship fast, be resilient. You see these guys like, sometimes it seems very unfair, even if you have growth, even if you make revenue. Test as many things as you can, talk to your users, and things will come, I guess. So thank you so much, Sacha, for being with us tonight on this very special night. And let's give him a big round of applause. So I think that we have a few minutes to take some questions from the audience.
We have some time for questions. So yeah, you're the first one, and then you throw this mic to the next person. It's a mic, okay? Ready?
Why do you use Amplitude and Firebase?
So we are using Amplitude to track events. So like, for example, the number of people that are live streaming every day, the number of new friendships that are created every day. And we are using Amplitude to also measure the retention rate of the users, have the number of daily active users, have the retention rate after achievement. So for example, you can have the retention rate after users sign up, but you can also look at the retention rate of users that have made 1 friend on the first day or 5 friends on the first day. So Amplitude is very good to track retention and to send a lot of events and to get very precise information. And Firebase is very good if you want to have an overview of your application. So like the total number of minutes spent per streamers per day, the total number of people that are joining a live. So because on Amplitude this is very expensive and you cannot send all the events you want. So you need to choose which event you are sending to Amplitude if you don't want it to be expensive, and you have to bulk everything. And on Firebase, as it's free, you can send all the events you want, and so you can have a global overview of what you are building.
But you can do all of this in Firebase, no?
No, not really, because Firebase is not precise, especially for the retention, because it's based on the IP of the users. And at some point, if you compare your retention rate with Firebase and with your database and with Amplitude, you will have some differences because IP can change very fast and you don't have the same metrics. For the events, it's if you send events from your users, it's okay because you decide when you send an event, so you can have the total number of events, you can have the percentage of daily active users that are using this feature, for example, but you cannot have the retention rate based on an achievement, you cannot have a precise retention rate. You're welcome.
Hello. How are you choosing your paying feature, and how are you integrating them in your product? So, are you creating a free feature and then are you limiting the access to user, or creating this from scratch?
So basically, we are implementing paying features that we cannot give to everyone. So the platform is completely free. But there is some features that we cannot give to everyone, otherwise it won't work. So for example, a paying feature is called a boost. So within a group of 10 persons, anyone can boost the group. So you pay for the group like having a bottle in a nightclub to have a sweet spot. And the group that have a lot of boost will be on the top of the list. And only 2 groups can be on the top of the list. And with this paying feature, when you are boosting the group, everyone is happy because you have a sweet spot and you have more interaction because you see more people. And this is a feature that we cannot give to everyone. So we only add paying features that can improve the experience of users that can pay and add more value to the core proposition, which is making new friends. And because it's a win-win, because they will have a better experience and we will earn money. And we try to add features that are paying features that are not adding value to the core value proposition, and it just doesn't work.
Any more questions from the audience? So I think there's two more, I guess.
How many user active you have today?
So I don't give this metric, but we have a couple of millions monthly active users.
And there's another one in the back.
What do you think about specific social network, for example, for makeup or for foods? Do you think like there is a future for that, for this kind of a social network?
Yes, of course. I think it's possible to create a social network only based on sport, like Strava, for example, or only based on makeup. I don't know any of them, but we have a social network called Plateau, which works very great, and it's only a platform to play games. So, and I think that at some point you need to be very specific on something to build a social network like sports or makeup, and like, for example, I was speaking with a team that is building a news application, and they wanted to add social features, but I told them you can add social features to it only if it's adding value to the news. So people are coming to get news, or people can come to learn makeup. You can add social value around this, but it needs to be a value that will be added to the core value proposition of your application.
Yeah, community-based networks are pretty hype at the moment, but usually it's very niche, it's very small, so you would have to monetize it. So right now a big trend is like private group chats about like makeups or whatever, and it's usually like for membership.
Yes.
Hi, thanks very much. What's the next big step for Yubo?
So the next big step is to grow faster. So our goal is to get 5% of weekly growth over the daily active users. And on the product, we focused on the long term, we focused on adding more content to the profile and more metadata to the users, like the people you speak with and you should be friend with. And we focused on adding a nice breaking layer to be sure that when you will enter in a conversation with 10 persons you don't know, you will have some ice-breaking feature to start the conversation and make new friends faster.
Okay, one last question in the back.
Hi, thank you so much for the presentation. So I'm actually running on a platform of consumer goods, and I'm trying to launch the strategies in working with the KOL, so key opinion leaders in Europe and in Asia. And in your project right now, do you have some specific strategies working with these important KOL?
Like you mean influencers?
Yes, exactly, key opinion leaders. Do you have some targeted specific markets that you would like to roll out?
I don't know. I think you should start with the first influencers or KOL you meet and see if it's not very expensive and they have a good reach. You should try and see if it's working, and if it's not working, you should try with another one and another one until you get someone that worked. And you also need to iterate on the messages of what you are giving to the KOL. So for example, on Yubo, we try to work with influencers, and as we have public live group chat, we ask them to say, hey, on their social handles, to say, hey, we are going to make a live group chat on Yubo, you should come see us. And at some point, it doesn't work because, first of all, on Yubo, it's a group chat with 10 people on average. So at some point, there is no point for an influencers to do that on Yubo. And also because you can live stream on Instagram as an influencer and have more reach. So at some point, it's very important to be sure that the KOL you will choose will have a value using your platform and speak about your platform, and you need to be sure that this is the right messages.
Okay, thank you so much, Sacha. I think you have a birthday to celebrate. So let's try.
Thank you, Rhai. Thank you, everyone.
Que la famille.